Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are in the world. Welcome back to the Caring Economy with me, Toby Usnick. Today, we have our first in a series of guests from the Clinton Global Initiative, or CGI. CGI is a phenomenal happening that launches each September here in New York City. As part of CGI, there are groundbreaking social entrepreneurs and non-governmental organizations and nonprofits engaging with like-minded leaders and potential funders on their initiatives. CGI is a program that's dedicated to forging new partnerships, providing technical support, and elevating compelling models with potential to scale, no matter where they're coming from. It's as democratic and inclusive a way forward for groundbreaking social entrepreneurs. So with that, our guest today is Elisa Tertulien. She's a UN representative and program ambassador for Batey Relief Alliance, or what we call BRA or BRA. In 2018, BRA launched their Women's Empowerment Initiative committed to implementing a new holistic menstrual health and hygiene project with the Bateys of Dominican Republic. She is Howard University graduate. She became BRA's representative in the United Nations Economic and Social Council, or ECOSOC, in 2023. With a diverse background in performing arts, education, and marketing, she infuses her ventures with a unique skill set. Through impactful media projects, she bolsters BRA's mission by raising awareness, garnering support, and always bringing a smile. Collaborating closely with the CEO and president, Ulrich Gaillard, she aims to be magnifying BRA's global impact. So, drum roll, please. With no further ado, welcome our first in the CGI representatives, our own Elisa Tertulien.
Hello, hello. Thank you so very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Again, Elisa, welcome to the Caring Economy. As we always begin each session, I'm going to ask you to just give our audience a quick overview of you before we jump into BRA, sort of your story. Where did you come from, grow up? How were you raised? Your pivots, your mentors. How did you find your way to this amazing opportunity?
Oh, goodness gracious. I'll try and make this succinct and nice and compact. So I am from Rockland County, New York. I'm a Rockland County native. I went to primary school here, middle school here, and then I actually moved to Brooklyn to go to a performing arts high school in professional performing arts high school in the theater district in Manhattan. I did that, graduated from there, amazing experience. I majored, because we had to major, in voice. I went off to Howard University and I did my bachelor's degree in music education. And after that, I got to have my experience. I got to move to Florida, Miami specifically. I got to work with a marketing agency, with an airline at a hub station. So I got to get a lot of experience and learn a lot of things in different industries. So all of that, put that all together, got back to Rockland County during COVID, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And in those years, I just had time to really pour time into my passions. I think we all had a lot of time. So I am now very focused in the things that I want to do. I own my own consultancy and management business. I train as a tennis athlete and I'm a performer, and I get to use all of my skills to put it into what is my true passion, which is to serve. And I believe I know that my destiny and my mission in life is to serve and to make the world a better place with whatever gifts I have. And Batey Relief Alliance allows me to do that. So I am a representative and I put forth what I can to do my part.
I love that. I share your commitment to serving. I think that's why we're all on this planet. I also love the metaphor as a tennis enthusiast, to serve is to serve in a physical way as well.
Yeah, you like that?
Are you going to the US Open next week?
Do you want to know what's funny? So actually in July, I did the 2 weeks of Wimbledon with my uncle, who actually connected me with Ulrich, from the CEO of Batey Relief Alliance. So interesting way things work out. So I did that. Everyone has asked me if I was going to the US Open, but I'll be away for the first week. But twist and turn, my tennis coach got a couple of his students for tonight, the All-Star exhibit at the US Open. So tonight I'm actually going to the All-Star exhibit at the US Open, unexpected, unplanned. So I'm thrilled.
Going back to you, to be a performer and going to such an accomplished high school, was it sort of the movie Fame all over again? Or
so funny thing is, The Fame school is actually LaGuardia High School, and they are our rivals. So I always tell people, much respect to LaGuardia, of course, but their school is huge, like thousands of students. And our school, which is also the school that Alicia Keys went to and graduated from, I just would like to say, was more small and specialized. So we had AP classes, we had so we had voice, drama, musical theater, and tech, the people who make the show run, of course. And so we had more attention. And so I would say that we were the more elite school, but again, respect to LaGuardia. And it was interesting. It was great. It was a wonderful, wonderful experience.
Okay, so now you're going to have to give us a big bridge, a big gap for us. How do you go from all that theatrical and athletic upbringing to basically menstrual health and women's empowerment?
Interesting, right? So interesting enough, everything I've done in my life, like I said, I worked in various industries across the board. If I went down the list of jobs I had, and they all were amazing. I was a resident assistant in college. I did bartending and serving on and off for 10 years because as a performer, that's one of the best jobs, most flexible careers you can
Yes.
have.
Yeah.
I've been an executive assistant. I've been a project manager. I've been a manager for an airline. I've been a gate agent for an airline. So I've done all these things that have given me so much information. And at the end of the day, insight into people.
Mm-hmm.
All of my jobs, all of my career moves, all of the steps in my journey have shown me more and more layers of people. It's made me more patient. It's made me more kind. It's made me, I think, most importantly, empathetic, especially working at the airport, because you never know what someone's going through. You have
Mm-hmm.
no idea. The
Right.
moment before they came up to you, you have no idea the phone call that they just got or what they just dealt with. And so all of that has just poured into my mission of serving.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I got the chance, I've always known that I was going to do humanitarian work, no matter where I was, no matter what I did, even if it's just within my community, within the 2 miles that I live in. I
Mm-hmm.
knew that I was going to do something. And I am also of Haitian descent. And BRA does serve the Haitian community as well as the Dominican and the Peruvian community.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was introduced to the CEO and president, and he was telling me about the program of, becoming a representative and everything that came with that, it was an opportunity to serve and build my own spot in what I was able to do. I wasn't being asked to do something out of my norm. It was use the skills you have and help BRA. And so that's, kind of how I got there. And like I said, my uncle connected me with him. And so
Yeah,
that's
so
that
two follow-up questions. One, when you say
connection.
you always knew you were going to do this kind of service, how? Like, how did were you convinced by a mentor, by a faith leader, by a mother or a father? How did you kind of just know that you were going to serve in that? There's so many different ways you can serve, but how did you recognize that in yourself so early on?
So there's two ways. The first is I am a woman of faith. I've been raised in a family of faith, and I respect all faiths, but I'm a believer in God.
Mhm.
And I believe deeply from the way I was raised and from my own spiritual experiences that I was here to serve and change the world for the better, whichever way, which even if in the smallest way, it's just smiling at the person I'm walking past in the grocery store.
Mhm.
Because I've done that before, and someone has stopped me just to say, wow, why
Mhm.
are you smiling in the grocery store like this? Please keep doing that. I've always known that in my spiritual being, in my gut, as some people will say. And it's always attracted me to help people, to make people happy.
Mhm.
In addition to that, my family has always modeled that. So my father has, collectively, they are 10 brothers and sisters from the country of Haiti. And I am firstborn American. So before my sister and I, all of our family was born in Haiti,
Mhm.
to what we can track, right? As far as we can go. And they've always given back. We've always collected our good but used clothes. My family actually had an organization called ODL, which was the Organization of the Development of Las Caobas, which was the town they came from in Haiti. And they would throw, boat parties around, the Statue of Liberty and all these things. And we would wear coat check, my cousins and I, we'd wear coat check and all these things. And so I watched my family give back, and I was a part of it. We had clothes we grew out of. Do they still look good? Are they still usable? We're sending them to Haiti.
Yeah.
So my family, my dad would give the coat off his back to a homeless man, and he's actually done it on the street because he can and he wants to. So when you're raised like that, it settles in your spirit, it settles in your being. And I actually, when I see people being happy and making people happy, it makes me happier than how happy they are. It may sound like so dorky to some people, but it really makes me happy when I see people having healthy fun or just enjoying community or just sitting out and being happy, because we don't have much peace. So when you see moments of peace, it's great.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
well, I share both those points. I'm not a regular church-going person, but I am a man of faith, and I do believe in God and serving, as we talked. And also, it was patterned for me, that sense of service from my parents and my family, the way we were raised. And I also think, as you're smiling so beautifully, I always say the most attractive thing anything one can wear is a smile. Because when someone's smiling, you want to know why. You want to be with them, not away from them, usually.
Right?
Anyway,
As long as it's not a menacing smile.
right, or a little odd, but like so take us then to BRA. You were introduced to Ulrich by the CEO, by your uncle.
Yes.
At the Wimbledon, was it?
No, actually. So they've been lifelong friends since Haiti, actually. And they both have become
Haitian born and lives
Haitian born, same town, and they went to school together, actually. And so they have grown up, they both have become very successful in their line of work. My uncle is a hematologist, oncologist. They have both remained passionate about their humanitarian work and using their resources and their partnerships in any way that they can to give back, especially to give back to home. So we were together at a gathering and we were talking very, just social gathering, and it just comes out because we're all passionate about what we do. And so we're talking about property management or this or that. And it gets brought up about this program they have at BRA to become a part. And I was like, I am extremely interested. Couple conversations later, and January 2023, here I became a part.
Tell us about BRA and its premise and how it works. Then we'll get to CGN.
Yeah, of course. So BRA is a nonprofit, non-governmental organization. The mission is to address socioeconomic and health conditions of women, children, and families severely affected by extreme poverty, disease, and hunger across the Americas and the Caribbean, specifically Dominican Republic, Haiti, and Peru. So in the time now it's coming up on 26 years of service. BRA is focused on clean water, on, hunger. Right now, the Women's Initiative has us looking at menstrual health and hygiene and education in that sense. But anything that's going to uplift rural communities, lift families. And usually when you lift up the mother, when you lift up children, you're lifting up an entire community. So that's always the focus. And, every couple years, there's a different commitment to action. There's a different, in conjunction with the United Nations ECOSOC and with CGI, there's always a very targeted mission and goal. And we work towards that. And right now, and since about 2018, it's been a women's initiative.
And what's tell us, Batey Relief Alliance. Batey refers to...
So I would like to say just Batey Relief Alliance. It's Batey Relief Alliance. So it's mostly Haitian migrants and Dominicans, but that were brought over to work in the rural sugarcane fields. But what happened?
Dominican Republic.
Exactly, in the Dominican Republic. What happened though is things get industrialized, jobs get taken, and then people are left with less jobs. They don't have skill training. There isn't much literacy, and there isn't much financial foundation.
Mhm.
So Batey Relief Alliance has gone in to support these people, to give them more skill set, more literacy, so they can come out of poverty at the end of the day. That's the goal, because the climate has shifted, and they were already not necessarily set up in the best situation to begin with.
Mhm.
So without jobs, we know what that looks like. It goes downhill from there.
Mhm.
So Batey Relief Alliance has stepped in to help with microloans, to help with menstrual health, other health issues, HIV, AIDS, vitamin deficiency, things of that nature, in partnership with CGI to serve these communities.
The subset then of Batey is this women's initiative. They've done a few for the past few years. This year is going to be around menstrual health and hygiene.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And tell us a little bit about this commitment that you're all doing this year for CGI.
The commitment, it's ongoing. It started in July 2022, and it's still ongoing as of now. The commitment was to get 120 women and 96 schoolgirls. There was a study done, and they saw that at least 20% of these schoolgirls were missing 2 to 3 school days a month due to lack of sanitary pads and the necessary things that they need during their cycle.
Mhm.
So we committed to take these 120 women and these 96 schoolgirls in partnership with CGI to give them the training and the resources they needed to be able to remove this stigma, remove the shame, and be able to go about their lives and stay in school during this time. So with CGI, we got a commitment from Period Company,
Mhm.
and they sent over 1,000 reusable underwear. We also got a commitment from Always, and they sent over 10,000 sanitary pads. So we were able, with those contributions, with the contribution from CGI for the training and the workshops, we were able, committing to 120 mothers and 96 schoolgirls. So far, we've gotten 119 women and 96 of the schoolgirls through the training, supported by these resources, and over 1,000 lives in total have been impacted, because in addition to the menstrual health, as I said, we're attacking more than just that. We are providing health services and training for an education for HIV and AIDS, for giving out multivitamins and other things of the nature to keep people healthy
Yeah.
overall.
And you're giving women in particular a safe space, and young girls to talk about something that would be, perhaps, as you suggested, stigmatized. Can you say a little bit about how one who wants to get involved might do that? Is it through the CGI website? Is it through Batey? What's the best way to help out?
So absolutely. You would contact us. You can email us at BRA at Batey, BATEY, relief.org.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can give us a call at 917-627-5026 and just reach out. Let us know how you'd like to support, or let us know that you want to support. And there's always a way someone who has a passion to help can help.
And that phone number, again, it's country code 1, and then it's 917.
Country code 1-917-627-5026.
Fantastic. So tell us about CGI. You are actually going to be sitting or schmoozing with the Clintons in New York this September. This amazing catalytic engine for change in the world.
Ulrich will actually be representing BRA at CGI this year, but I will give you his words on CGI and what he thinks is great about it. Ulrich always only has amazing things to say about CGI. He has been in contact with them most. The partnership is one that is synergetic. It works. They are very supportive. And at this CGI Commitment to Action in September, his biggest thing is be ready to participate in a very successful gathering. As I said, it's always a positive experience when he goes. Be ready to network and meet thousands of people working every day of their lives to make the world a better place.
I agree. Ladies and gentlemen, again today on the Caring Economy, we have as our guest Elisa Tertulien. She's a UN representative and an ambassador this year for Batey Relief Alliance, which is going to be present again this year at the Clinton Global Initiative this fall at the September in New York. I wonder, Elisa, if you might tell us a little bit more about how you balance it all between your work with BRA and you've got your other consultancy going on, and I imagine you're still also performing, but that might be a presumption I shouldn't make. How do you balance it all?
That's a wonderful presumption. Presume away.
I'm willing it for you.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, the beautiful thing, as I said, I got connected with BRA during COVID, and between 2020 and 2022, I was laid off like most people, but it was, funny enough, one of the best things that could have happened, because I had been doing my consultancy and my performing and kind of running my business just kind of as a side thing. And with all of this time, I went in, I made it official. And so I get to run my life the way I like to run it. I've worked since I was 12 legally. We used to be able to get the education,
Right.
you know, the School of Board of Education would sign a paper.
Yeah.
And so I've been working for over 18 years.
Yeah.
And to be able, it was always my dream to have my own, so I could run my life and my schedule the way I wanted to, so I could do the things I love and do them without being afraid that I would lose my job because I didn't have the time. So all of my endeavors are awesome because I get to pick and choose what I am a part of. I get to be selective, which I think is important, because when you're chasing money and that's your first goal, you get caught up in some things, or you can get caught up in less than, you know, upstanding things, I should say. And so I get to choose my clients. I get to choose when I train, because I do train 5 to 6 days in tennis. I'm on the court. And with BRA, the beautiful thing as well is I get to choose which projects I work on, when I work on them, because this is an ongoing commitment, right? It's not, we do this and then we're done. And I actually love that, because there's not this end all be all, we're just doing this, and then once this event is over, we're finished. I've gotten to a women's conference, the CSW conference that happened in March at the UN. There were so many meetings, just meeting after meeting after meeting, and to have the freedom to go through, and based off of what's the goal right now for BRA, Women's Initiative, which that sits very passionately for me as a woman, as a young woman at that. And so I got to choose between all of these meetings that were available and decide what fit for me with BRA's mission. So I can say that I'm blessed that all of the projects and clients and things that I get to do, I also get to make sure that it's in my lane.
That's so awesome. I believe causes like this, we should all care, right? But that's easy for me to say from where I sit. What's your message to, say, men or young boys or non-Haitian community, or how do you build capacity, or what's your message to those you want to say there's a place at our table for you? Because
that's a great question.
like I would think, you know, anyone who has a daughter or a niece or granddaughter should care.
I appreciate you presenting it. Especially you brought up for men, for boys. And that was actually something that was brought up in one of the meetings during our women's conference with the UN. How do you get men to care about women's initiatives? And I think one thing is stepping back and realizing everyone has a woman in their life.
At least one.
At least one, whether it's a mom, a grandma, an aunt, a coworker, a friend, a neighbor. It doesn't have to be someone that you're blood related to. It could be the pharmacist that you see once a week who's just pleasant.
Mhm.
And we all make the world go round,
Mhm.
not just men, not just women.
Mhm.
All of us make the world go round. So when an entire group that helps make the world go round isn't able to do their part because they aren't given the opportunity to do so, the community crumbles.
Mhm.
And historically, not saying all the time, but historically, matriarchs, the mothers, the women are the nurturing force that keep the fires burning.
Mhm.
In addition to doing hard work and labor, but also in addition to going out and working at home, they keep the fire burning.
Yeah.
They keep the kids tended to. They make sure food is on the table. And that may not be customary for everyone. I know that everyone's life situation can look different, but historically, that's what it is. And so if we lift up women or girls, those who are going to be the future, if we start when they are young and give them the power, give them the tools, give them the opportunity, then they have something to work with. But if they have nothing to work with, they failed before they ever started, and we have failed them because we are the ones who are supposed to provide for
Yeah,
the
you have a
young.
chance. I also think there's an opportunity in maybe video storytelling or in the ways in which you celebrate the successes of BRA to have some young boys and men speak about how their lives were made better by your programming. Because as you said, these are brothers and husbands and nephews and grandchildren of people who've been affected by your great program.
That's actually a really great suggestion. And I definitely want to implement that because I was so curious around the world because I heard from people all around the world. I think what stood out for me was probably like Indonesia, Malaysia, and the Philippines and how they were going about including men in this. And it was so fascinating to me because you hear about all these women's issues and microloans and all these things around the world. And I did sit and wonder, how are they, because some of it was changing cultural things,
Mhm.
cultural norms where men have to be more accepting of women doing certain things, whether it's physical labor or going out into the workforce, that were, and now they have to share duties at home maybe. And that's this new thing that they're trying to put into thousands of years of culture. And I was so curious as to how are you breaking these norms? Because you want to keep the authenticity of your culture while still allowing everyone to thrive, right? And
Absolutely.
so it's a delicate balance. And it was very interesting listening to different cultures that aren't the United States and not in the Americas. So
But, you
it
know,
was
yeah, Elisa, when you said earlier about it's not just men that make the world turn or women, that to me is a perfect example of the type of leadership you exude and what I think is a way forward, which is bridging leadership, right? It's not one or the other. So when you can find examples where a whole community is lifted up and everyone celebrates that success by that intervention or that initiative or that commitment, then I think it makes us all a little healthier and a little bit more calm because we're in a very polarized world right now. And I don't believe
yes.
it has to be. I think most people actually want to live and let live and not be seen as the other, right? So it requires that we not always look at others as the other as well. Would you agree?
I love that you said live and let live. That statement right there, I agree with you. I think that most people want to live in peace and not be the other
Mm-hmm.
and just be respected as a human being. I've had conversations with people from all different demographics recently, and everyone seemed to agree when I say this. As long as you are not hurting anyone through action or speech, as you would say, live and let live, because the one thing we have in common is that we're all human beings.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing that needs to happen is that we respect each other as human beings. We do not need to agree, but we do need to respect. And I think that's where the conflict is happening. Everyone wants everyone to agree with how they live or what they believe or their religion. I can respect you without necessarily agreeing with you. And I don't think we've come to a place in society where people realize that that's okay.
Yeah, I
It's
agree. I also,
okay.
going back to our earlier conversation about religion and service, I also believe not only are we meant to serve, but serving others does not necessarily mean serving them what they want, but it is being of service to others, right? And I think we get trapped sometimes thinking that I can't serve them because that's not what my value system is. And there are ways to meet the other than the most immediate task in hand. Would you agree?
Exactly. I agree 100% with that. 100%.
So I have one last question for you, Lisa, which is sort of pearls of wisdom, career advice. How you found a purpose-driven career, you have a purpose-driven life. What pearls of wisdom have you gleaned in your life so far that you might share?
Oh, goodness gracious. So many. Never stop learning. That's a big one for me. I've always said, even since I was young. So I used to say to my mentors and people who are older than me, I've figured life out. I've learned it all. And they're like, that is a dangerous way to live. And I said, but I figured it out. Never stop learning.
Yeah.
And then they all stop and they go, okay. Because if you never stop learning, you're always open. You're always open to hear someone out. You're always open to, I think it was Aristotle, I might be wrong, who said something to the effect of like, an intelligent mind is one that can entertain a thought without agreeing, or accepting it or agreeing it, something like that. So I think if you're always willing to learn and be open-minded, you can hear other people. You can see how they think. You can understand them better and why they live the way they live or talk the way they talk or feel the way they feel. So I think being open to learn leaves you open to listen. And I think, oh, the biggest thing I'll say is empathy and patience. I have learned empathy, patience, and kill them with kindness.
Yes, I use that
I
too.
have
Kill them
learned
with kindness.
kill them with kindness has held me down for quite some time in the most chaotic, nonsensical situations. Killing them with kindness has always worked. But more importantly, patience and empathy. I'm not saying people are always going to be nice. I'm not saying the situation is always going to be on your side or be great, but how you act when, what is it they say, the rubber hits the road,
Yeah, yeah,
how
yeah.
to act when things get tough, when it's not all hunky-dory and everything's all happy and rainbows are just shooting out. How do you act when it's hard? And if people had more patience, if they took a step back and empathy to think, what might this other person be going through?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
I
love it.
think that we'd have a lot more peace. And
I
so
love
those
that.
are
I'm reminded of your earlier statement that you worked as a gate agent. I think most people could not survive in that role, right? I'm already envisioning like a Shark Tank like reality show where every contestant has to be the gate agent and all these different things happen.
you had to have special skills. They didn't just push everyone up to gate agent. And
Right.
one of my best skills, because they would put me on the hardest flights. I was in Fort Lauderdale. I was at Fort Lauderdale Airport,
Mhm.
and they knew I was a New Yorker. They knew I was a Haitian New Yorker, and they used to put me on the LaGuardia flight when it was about to cancel, because New Yorkers on a flight that's canceled, man, is it something? But I was always able to keep my people in line
I love it. You're going to
all
have
the
to teach me some skills later. I want to thank today our fantastic guest, Elisa Tertulien. She is the United Nations representative and program ambassador for Batey Relief Alliance, BRA. They're going to be in this year's Clinton Global Initiative here in New York in September. Check it out. We've given you the information already. Get involved, support the cause. This is all about really helping young women in particular and women in general in, well, you say it.
This is all about helping young women and young mothers and women in general in the rural areas of the Batey of Dominican Republic to have menstrual health and hygiene training and being able to remove the stigma and be successful, getting to school, learning, and thriving in their community.
Thank you, Elisa Tertulien.